Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In my opening remarks, I mentioned that one of the things that troubled me about this agreement was the fact that the new UN Security Council Resolution 2231, which accompanies the JPOA, lifts the arms embargo on Iran after 5 years and ballistic missile sanctions after 8 years. So I'd like to ask Admiral Fallon, what are the strategic implications of lifting these particular sanctions, and are there redundant measures in place that the United States can rely on that will prevent Iran from introducing further instability into the region?
Mr. Engel, who knows? We could speculate all day long. There's been an awful lot of that about every aspect of this deal. In my view, the most important thing is that Iran is very close, by pretty much consensus, to achieving a nuclear weapon. If they do that, I guess step back for a second and put this in perspective. There's no comparison in total power between Iran and the United States. We are not in, they're not in the same league with us. However, they acquire a nuclear weapon that gives them significant leverage to blackmail us and others against doing things in this region or other places that could be destabilizing. So it seems to me that if you stack the priorities in what we would like to do here, this keep the weapon out of their hands now is, in my view, far superior to the others, and that's what the objective is here. So there are all kinds of other things. If I had a clean sheet and could have all my desires, we wouldn't have included any release of ballistic missile technology or access to other weapons and a long list of things that, from our perspective, we'd like to see implemented. That's not realistic. Absolutely not realistic, in my opinion. So what we're trying to do is to forestall the imminent potential of a nuclear weapon. There are only two ways to get there, by my understanding of the physics. One is through uranium. We've removed, if this plan is agreed to and executed, remove that pile of uranium, enriched uranium. And the second is plutonium. And if the plant's not functioning, it's not very easy or likely they're going to build another heavy water plant anytime soon. So to me, when you look at the alternatives, give me a real one. I've heard a lot of talk. Most of it is speculation and hand-wringing about what could happen. Who knows what could happen? But think of a couple things, if you would, please, members. 15 years. That's almost a generation. And that's basically what the deal was trying to buy, pushing this off that amount of time. The flip side, I don't know of any people that are particularly thrilled with the leadership in Tehran. I certainly have no love for them whatsoever based on observed behavior up front and personal. But 15 years from now, Khamenei is going to be, if he's alive, 91. Do you think he's going to be ruling that country? This is a country where 50% of the population is under the age of 30. I mean, you can feel it from here. They want change. So who knows what's going to happen? I think we could speculate all day long. It seems to me that we ought to be focused on the most important thing, and that is, let's stop the drive to a nuclear weapon now.
And if anyone else cares to answer, it would seem to me, though, if we are looking to help the Iranian people have a more democratic regime, are we more likely to do it when Iran is awash in cash, as this agreement will do, or are we more likely to have it if the Iranian economy, currency, and other things are struggling because they have a hold on monies that they have? So, Vice Admiral General
Would you like
Leon,
me to take a shot at that first?
Yeah.
Or? So,
sure.
The amount of money has also been debated. Who knows, 50 billion or 100 billion? But in the big scheme of things, Iran seems to have done a pretty fair job of funding their ongoing activities around the world that we find pretty nefarious. So I'm not sure what this infusion of cash might result in, but I know one thing it's almost certain, and that is if this place opens up and you get the kind of economic activity that appears to be poised to, try to get a flight into Tehran from some European capital today, this country is going to open up. What that means for the future remains to be seen. But the idea that it's going to stay a closed society, I don't think it's going to happen. So this offers an opportunity to change that.
Leon?
I just wanted to make a remark about this notion that one hears everywhere now, that one must support the deal because there is no alternative. I never quite understood this point. In the first place, if a plan does not furnish a solution to the problem that it sets out to solve, then it is itself not a real alternative and not a satisfactory alternative. The debate is about whether or not it does. But the idea that because it's the only plan there is, we must support it, makes no sense to me if we come honestly to the conclusion that it is a bad plan. And secondly, the argument that there is no alternative, this deal is a respite of 10 years and 15 years, and we're told there's no alternative. But the same could have been said about a respite of 7 years and 12 years, or 3 years and 8 years, or 6 months and a year. The idea that there is no alternative could be used to justify any deal. I think that the most important, the obligation we have is to judge the deal on its own merits, considering all its dimensions. And if we conclude that it is a bad deal, then I think people have to vote on their conscience about it.
I see my time is up, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.